Yeah, yeah. Press start. Hey, thought I was fly back in '08. Thought I could touch the sky, life was so great. But oh wait, thought I had an opening. Crash landed, lost friends while I with broken wings. What for? Man, I'm not even sure. Maybe I was in the way, couldn't see the door. Lose, either or, couldn't see before. But I knew a loss was needed, bought me a sword. Back when I was chewing Flintstone vitamins, Mom told me if you fall, then you try again. When doubt shows up at the door, you can hide on the floor, but do not invite them in. Sometimes it's more luck and it's less heart. Every set might just need a fresh start. Be prepared for the win when the rest starts. But before that, gotta press start.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Set Listing Bruce, your podcast all about Bruce Springsteen, his music, and mostly his fans. I am your host, Jesse Jackson, but today we are getting off the Bruce Springsteen train, though he'll come up because he normally does, and we are talking a different kind of music. Coming up in San Antonio this next weekend is Superbitfest. And Joey Devine is here to talk a little bit about that. Joey, welcome to the show.
Hi, just thanks for having me.
Yeah, so before we get to the festival, tell us a little about yourself.
So I'm a lot of things. I am a business owner. I own a little studio called Wizard Music, where we do lessons and record musicians. So we
Okay.
teach guitar, bass, drum, stuff like that. We're located in Rolling Oak Mall. I'm also in a band called Bitforce, where we play video game music live. We do covers and originals of inspired video game, anime, cartoon, movies, and all sorts of music of in that genre. And yeah, and now I do events too, and that's what we're working on right now is a Superbitfest.
Yeah, so this is the inaugural
Yes, yeah,
festival. So,
yeah.
and that is pretty cool. Joey, what's interesting is my son is 32, and if you would ask him his favorite music, he would tell you wrestling entrance songs. You know?
That's great.
Yeah.
There's a so one of the gentlemen that's on this bill, his name's Mega Ran, and he actually has like several songs for several wrestlers.
Yeah.
So he does some of the intro music for like the what I don't even know what it is right now. Is it WCW? I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
WWE, yes.
WWE. Okay, that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
I try to keep up with that sometimes.
Well, it is hard to remember, Joey. And I think someone like myself, I am you know, I'll turn 63 this year. I tend to still think of music as that 3-4 minute song that is played on the radio or played on your CD player or your MP3 player or your phone. And, and in a lot of people, and I'm not going to sound like the old fart going, you young whippersnappers, but there is a whole generation that is not when they think of music, is it?
Right. No, you're 100%. It seems like we've kind of drifted away from a lot of the I don't want to say the old ways, but like the former ways. I mean, they're still
Traditional.
around. Yeah, traditional. There we go.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, and I'm part of that category as well. Except for like when I don't really have like internet, I'll turn on the classical station, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of video game music is really inspired by classical music. I mean, most music is in general,
Yeah.
but especially when you got like games that just came out, like Elder Ring, and that's hugely like orchestral, like soundtrack, and it is beautiful. And it wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for, classical music.
Have you always had that love of this genre of music, or is that something that you slowly drifted to? Like when you were a kid, were you listening to more, traditional, whether it's rock and roll or hip hop or soul or rhythm and blues, country, whatever? What did you start out with this other genre and kind of drift to this?
That's a pretty good question. I think what happened was my sister kind of forced rock on me, which
Okay.
made me not like it at first, and then I kind of
Sure.
like, kind of grew on me once I picked up I stole one of like her tapes. Yeah, tapes. I'm showing my age now.
Yeah.
Uh, which was Van Halen, and then I was like, okay, I can get down with this style of rock, not the grunge like Nirvana stuff,
Hmm.
which would have been my adolescent years.
Okay.
And then my grandma introduced me to um, classical, and I would just like every morning, like during the summertime, that's all we listened to, and it just kind of grew on me. Um, and then of course I was playing games already at the time, so like I would just be humming, the Mario theme out of
Yeah.
nowhere, just because it would stick, because you'd hear that over and over, and for someone like Koji Kondo to compose such a tune where you don't get bored of it, it seems like impossible, but they did it, like, because we literally would listen to the same song over and over again and never get bored of it. Even to this day, like, no one's really like sick of it,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
And so, as you've gotten into this, you talked about owning a studio. So are you involved with part of the creation of, you know, theme music to certain games, or with anime and a lot of online music? Is that where you're kind of gone to?
Yeah, actually, we have a couple of like soundtracks actually, that we've worked on for several games that haven't been released yet, so I can't tell you which ones they are.
Sure.
But they, the fact we were like asked to do them, is we felt very honored. I think actually one of them comes out this year, and we did like the title screen, the
Hmm.
death scene, and the ending outro theme, which I'm so freaking excited for. It's gonna be a really great game on Steam. But again, you really can't talk about it until it's
Okay.
out. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, absolutely. And being in a studio, like, when it comes to music, like, the options are endless. Like, I just did an audiobook for a gentleman,
Hmm.
like, you just don't know what's gonna pop into the studio. But ideally, Monday through Thursday, we're teaching. We're trying to, and one of the one of the things that kids love is that we show them anime music. We show them, video game music, and we'll teach them how to play it, and then why, or at least we try to explain why it's so catchy and why it's so fun, and they get it. They catch on, and it's pretty awesome. Like, we have a really good thing over here.
Joey, what kind of music, when you're teaching them, what kind of instruments are they learning on?
Everything,
Really?
everything but like brass.
Okay.
So we do guitar, bass, drums, ukulele, violin, cello, drum. Oh, I said drums already. Piano. We even have a harp teacher.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, she's wonderful. She's from Berkeley. Um, and she's more classically driven on
Sure.
her style, but like, she'll
Hmm.
come up to me like, hey, I saw you teaching that kid the Avengers song, show me that. And I'll show her like, hey, this is how it is. And then,
Hmm.
and the kids love it. They just, especially right now with all the superhero movies being out,
Yeah.
that's a that's an easy like hit, and a good way to keep them like interested, which helps them better their playing abilities.
You know, a lot of my guests have talked about that um, when they were teaching their children the guitar, they'd like, yes, I want you, I know you want to learn how to play a guitar to play a Taylor Swift song, but the first thing we're work on together is a Bruce Springsteen song, right? Like, we're gonna do
Yeah.
that, like, and we're gonna teach you one for me and then teach you one for you. And so I think you do have to, find where, because I do, one of my regrets is I never took time to learn a musical instrument. In fact, there'll be these little um, Twitter, people like, oh, what would you tell your, 15-year-old self? And I would say, learn the guitar. Just take the time and be patient and learn the guitar. And so I think it's good. Anytime you can get someone involved with that creativity, I think it's good for their psyche. I think it's good for their, confidence. So good for you, Joey.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah.
and you saying your regrets, I have had two students over 65.
Wow.
Just to let you know, and they were able to learn. It was, yeah, it is a little bit harder. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna,
Yeah.
lie. It is a little tougher, but they did it, and now they're playing like songs for their wives and their kids, and we're talking about like Willie Nelson stuff, even to the point where we had a gentleman come in, and after showing him some stuff, he actually recorded his part, and then we sent it all to his family to record their parts. And
Oh,
so
how fun.
yeah, and so for Christmas they all came together and played this like Willie Nelson song, and it was beautiful. It was
That
I mean,
that
yeah.
all right. All right. You're inspiring me, Joey. I
I'm just
appreciate
saying
that.
you can do it. You
Okay.
like don't especially if you have such a successful podcast, like it takes that kind of like that effort, that time,
Yeah.
because it takes creativity to do this, and
Yeah.
that same kind of like mentality and that passion, you just kind of like direct it towards the guitar, and you can do it.
Okay. Very nice. All right. So the festival is called Superbitfest. It's on March 5th, 2022. It is in San Antonio.
hmm
Tell me a little bit more about it. Why did you guys decide to do this?
So it was originally slated for March 14th, 2020, which was Pi Day.
Yes. Yes.
And then, but 3 days prior to the event, we got the call from the city like, hey, anything over 500 people, no bueno, don't do it. And at that time, I think we were at like a few hundred pre-sales. So we're like, oh man,
Mhm.
let's cap it. Let's turn it off the sales. Like, let's just stop right here. And then the next day, they're like 250, like, oh, we're already past that. So we had to cancel, and literally had like people on their planes about to like fly in.
Mm.
So I was like, get off the plane, like
Yeah.
take a parachute, what? No, not that, but so it was pretty intense. But yeah, we're glad to be back. We've kind of like named this one Super Bitfest version 1.11.
All right.
You
I
know,
love that. Yes.
but yeah, and I guess the whole start of this, I mean, man, I think like that's been the goal since Bitforce, which is my band, kind of like came to be, as we wanted to team up with a bunch of different video game bands
Hmm.
and just like party together. And then we found out there's this huge event called Magfest in DC.
Okay.
um, and basically, like we're starting from the ground up, but we want to pursue something very similar. And you were definitely inspired by it, but we want to take kind of like the best of that, put it towards this, and then add our own like little twist to it. And but yeah, I guess it's been part of the plan since like day one. And the I guess we'll call it like the nerd core, or the VGM community, the video game music community. I mean, we're just like really all family. There's not like
Hmm.
the competition that we would see like amongst like local bands or stuff like that. Like, it's just a family. We all want to see each other. Like, I mean, we all have the same passion, so it's like cool. Like, let's get together like a few times a year and throw down like these massive concerts. And we really didn't have anything in the South other than PAX South, which was a great event. Um, but it wasn't really catered to like what we're doing. It was more so like,
Yeah.
hey, here's these video games coming out, check it out. And even then, like compared to the other PAXs, it wasn't like as awesome. It
Yeah.
wasn't, still great. I absolutely loved it. I ran the jam space there. Um, and I got to play the main stage a couple times, and it was great. I thought they did a wonderful job. But the fact that Nintendo or Sony didn't want to bring anything down, to San Antonio, was like, I think, upsetting to them, and I think that's kind of
Yeah.
like one of the reasons why they pulled the plug on it. But and so now we're kind of like taking the music side of that and try to fill that like void, but we'll never be like that kind of event.
Okay.
So we're not like a PAX like replacement or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
But definitely, if you guys get a chance, check out MagFest as well. They're amazing, amazing event, and they happen in January in DC. It's funny, like there was like one year we had to fly up to MagFest and then fly back to PAX like week after week,
Yeah.
and it was just absolutely chaotic. Um, but yeah, so just being in the community, I think that's what kind of like got us like where we are now, where we wanted to be. And then, yeah, that's the plan. Just grow this event. Like really, we're pretty grassroots for the most part. We're really, I mean, we're going to events and just talking to people about, and they're like, "What video game music? Like,
Hmm.
I definitely want to check this out." And
Yeah.
um, that's kind of like how it all started.
So talk to me about who are you've got a couple of guests coming. Tell me a little bit about those.
Sure. So we've I think we have about like 11, 12 musical artists. Actually, we're about to announce one. I guess I can do it right now because you'll see this when it releases. But we actually got 88-bit coming down as of yesterday. I found that out. We confirmed, and he's like one of the great like piano players of video game music. Um, and yeah, he's gonna come down and perform for us. He's gonna like kick off the whole show,
Oh,
and then
wow.
back. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. So, it was kind of like sprung up on me. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's gonna be fun. And he's gonna be backing up Mega Ran. And those are actually our two big ones: is Mega Ran and Richie Branson. For music wise, Mega Ran is like a Guinness Book World Record holder for the most like Mega Man lyrics in a song,
Hmm.
which is crazy. And he also was like a teacher. Then he took on the rapping career of like video game music, which is called nerdcore hip hop. And then Richie Branson's actually from San Antonio. And for all you like, I guess cats like my age, who around the 30s and mid 30s, so there was a show called like Toonami, or a segment on Adult Swim, like every Saturday, and they would play anime. And this guy Richie Branson, well, first off, they got it off, they took it off,
Yeah.
and it was like a huge like uproar. And Richie Branson wrote a hip hop song, said "Bring Toonami back," um, and they played it on there, and it went viral before like viral was like really viral, and
Hmm.
yeah, sure enough, they brought Toonami back right after that song. So he's considered like the otaku king, and he doesn't really play a lot of shows, so this is kind of a big deal to have him here. Kind of come back home after like he's like blown up all over in like in LA and San Francisco and whatnot. And so really happy to have them. Then there's Mariachi Entertainment System. They're
Okay.
YouTube phenomenons right now. Basically, they play video game music in mariachi style.
Oh, how
So
fun.
yeah, so it's super super cool. And yeah, those three alone right there are just absolute monster in the scene. Descendants of Erdrick has been around forever. They're from Austin, great friends of ours. IQ was announced by Attack on Titan for all you anime heads out there.
Okay.
They actually recognized him because he did a whole Attack on Titan soundtrack. Roshi's local, and they're fantastic. They're doing like a whole anime set. There's actually a lot of anime in this now. Looking at it.
That's
Then
good.
then there's us. There's Bitforce. I'm not even gonna talk about us because I'd hate doing that. Then we have Bear Brass, which is a total brass band dedicated to like it's Louisiana style brass, but also playing like pop culture hits. So like
Oh,
you
nice.
know they'll do video game, but they'll also do like Billie Eilish, Ozzy Osbourne,
Okay.
stuff like that. It's massive, super massive. Gross Angels, like nerdcore hip hop, really really awesome. Also local, probably the best like local hip hop cat in San Antonio. And then Super Galaxy Trains, brand new. They they're a whole like ensemble. So you have brass and woodwinds and strings and a drum set and a piano player. It's huge. It's like 14 or 16 piece ensemble, and they're playing like very similar to jazz. I guess
Hmm.
it would be jazz, but like a lot of it's really smooth, and then sometimes it just gets really intense. And they're actually making this is their second show ever, So they were supposed to debut originally the first Superbitfest, and
Yeah.
then Starfighter Dreams plays music on his Game Boy. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's such a huge variety of music. Like you just, I mean, it is nuts. And then DJ Rockman and Ilcat are resident DJs that will be there. They also play nothing but remixes of video game songs, and they'll be hosting each stage, so you'll hear a lot of them. Um, yeah, we're sponsored by D-Pad, which is in New Braunfels. Great shop. Go check it out. We got to
Okay.
plug them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I also see you're having a cosplay contest.
Yeah. Right now, well, it's looking like a $250 cash prize, and then for the adult one, and then we're doing like $100 like GameStop card for the kiddos, plus all
Nice.
these other like prizes like that have been donated to us from tons of different comic shops and stuff like that. So I'm pretty stoked about it. And then we have also Kieran Strange, who is a voice actor and a musician.
Mm-hmm.
He is fantastic, but he's one of the main voice actors in Borderlands 3, and he's also doing a ton of anime. And super happy to have him. And he'll be hosting the cosplay contest as well.
All right. So now where I'm gonna have a link where you can go to get tickets, but where are you guys having this at?
This is going to be downtown San Antonio. It's the Rock Box is the best way to put it, but it's actually like three venues in one.
Okay.
It's the Rock Box, Vibes Event Center, Vibes Underground, and then what they've done is opened all the doors, side doors,
Okay.
to each other. So it's like one giant venue, three stages. Tons of space for activities. We have vendors, we have arcades, and a bunch of other cool stuff out there.
That sounds like a blast. It sounds like a lot of fun. So um it's on March 5th. Doors are gonna open at 3 o'clock. What's the cost?
Right now it's 15 online, and then I believe we have it set to $20 at the door. So
Okay.
get your tickets online if you're listening to us now. Superbitfest.com, and just look how pretty the website is too. I designed it, so I'm going to plug it.
It is a good looking website. I admit it is. It's a www.super bit fest fest all one word .com. From there you can find out hotels, where the location is, order tickets, look at guests, and it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds especially even if you aren't involved with this kind of music, sounds like a fun afternoon to go just spend kind of and go down to downtown San Antonio and kind of explore and hear some different kind of music and meet some fun people and have a good time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's family friendly, so yeah, all ages are welcome to come hang out. I mean, we'll have something for everyone there. Whether it's you want to play some retro arcades. I think we have like 8+ arcades coming out.
Oh, wow.
Or there's a big Smash tourney. I didn't even talk about the Smash tourney.
Talk to me. Tell me.
We have 10 colleges competing. And so it's a whole collegiate battle, and I think it might be the first one of its kind that's in person. They've done
Okay.
college battles for Smash like online, but
Mhm.
this may be the first one in person. I'm afraid to like confirm that.
But it's rare. This is
It's
not something
rare.
that happens all the time.
Yeah,
So you're pretty excited.
Yeah, you'll get regionals like where it's like 1v1, but this is crew versus crew Smash tournaments, and I can't be more excited to be hosting this. And yeah, we have such a great team, and just like I said, super excited to be doing this.
Well, I think it sounds a lot of fun. I'm so glad you joined me and I'm able to promote this. I'm in Dallas, so I always anything fun going on in the Texas area I want to promote. So I am really glad that we had a mutual friend reach out to us so we could talk. Any last comments or any final sales pitch you want to give us, Joey?
I really can't say much more than what I have, but help us grow this. Help us make us. Help I can't even talk today. Help us make this event awesome, and spread the word if you can't be there.
Yeah, that sounds great. I appreciate it. All right. Once again, it is March 5th, downtown San Antonio. All the information you can find is www.superbitfest.com. I will have the link in the podcast. Joey, continued success. I really appreciate you joining me. Listeners, go check it out. If you're going to be in the San Antonio area, this sounds like a fun way to spend March 5th. Check it out. And in the meantime, go get vaccinated. Go
Yeah.
get boosted. Let's all be good to each other because that's the only way we're going to get through this.
Wear your
Thank
mask.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Joe. You could probably pick up some cool masks there at your
Absolutely.
vendor's floor.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely will have someone selling masks for sure.
Good. All right. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, listeners. And we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Come on.
I want and need your feedback. You can reach me multiple ways to tell me what you like or don't like about the show. You can reach out to give me guest suggestions or maybe to join me on the podcast yourself. We're on Twitter at SetListingBruce or at Jesse Jackson DFW. I have an Instagram, SetListingBruce or Jesse Jackson DFW. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/setlistingbruce. Go to patreon.com/setlistingbruce to find out how you can support the show, and we have several tiers of support. Please go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And tell a friend about the podcast because that is the way we're going to grow. If you're not tired of hearing me speak, you can hear me on Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast, where Charles Skaggs and I talk all things Doctor Who. The How Many podcast, where me and my friends Gary, Scott, Bob, and Jr. talk pop culture. And finally, my newest podcast, The Last Best Hope for Conversation, a Babylon 5 podcast, where Karen, Lou, and I are going through the TV show Babylon 5 one episode at a time. I am always looking for guests, so please reach out to me, setlistingbruce@gmail.com.
You just heard the fun talking, hard rocking, music loving, album ranking, fan thinking, joy spreading, lyric reading, story sharing podcast that is the one, the only Set Listing Bruce. The theme for Set Listing Bruce was written by David Rosen, used by permission.